Biomolecule that we will discuss today are lipids. Lipids are macronutrients just like carbohydrates and just like proteins, which are present in living organisms, and they are made up of carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and other supplementary elements. The word lipid was derived from a Greek word lipos, and this word meant oily or greasy. When we talk about lipids, we imagine oil. Alright, so lipids are also commonly referred to as oils and fats, and one of the most common property that we know about is that these fats, they are hydrophobic in nature, which means that they are not going to dissolve in water. They will dissolve in non-polar solvents. One more feature of lipids is that unlike carbohydrates and unlike proteins, these lipids, they are not polymers. So your carbs and nucleotides and proteins, all of them are polymers. Along with that, all of them are also macronutrients. Whereas fats or lipids, they are not polymers, but they are macronutrients because they are large in size and they are heavier in nature. This was a general introduction to lipids. Let's talk about the most common functions that we can come up with about these molecules. The most common function that we can think about is of storage. So why do we need to store lipids? Our bodies store lipids for production of fuel. There are specialized cells called adipocytes which are going to store fat in the form of fat droplet. So whenever our body is low on carbohydrates, what happens is that these fat droplets are going to be broken down in a stepwise manner to produce ATP. Another function of storage of these fat droplets is that these also store vitamins like A, D, E, K. Whichever vitamin is fat soluble, they will be stored in these adipocytes. So whenever we need, our body requires vitamins, these fat soluble vitamins, the adipocytes are going to release that. Next function is protective function. So when lipids are present either underneath the skin or either around an organ, they perform a protective function. So yes, these lipids, they are present just beneath your skin and they are also present around organs. When they are present around organs, they form a fat capsule and it is going to be protective in nature. Third function is insulation. So when fat is present just beneath the skin, what it will do, it is not going to allow heat to escape. So here it is acting as an insulatory material. One more function in this aspect is in neurons. In neurons, if you remember the structure, there is an axon, and sometimes around the axon we make a layer just outside the axon. This layer is also insulatory in nature, and this is made up of lipids, the biomolecule that we are discussing, and this sheath is called myelin sheath. So, two functions in insulation as well. Next function that we can think of is an important function, which is that lipids form the cell membrane or the plasma membrane. If you remember the structure of a plasma membrane, the fluid mosaic model, we have two leaflets, outer leaflet and inner leaflet, and both of these they are made up of phospholipid. So this tiny molecule that we see, this is a phospholipid. And there's one more lipid molecule that is present here. It is called cholesterol. In case of animal cells, cholesterol is present adjacent to phospholipid molecules where it is going to help in packaging. So lipid molecules also form cell membrane. If the lipid molecule is going to act as an inflammatory molecule, then we can say that lipid is acting as a messenger. And these messenger molecules are hormones. So what happens is that there's a cell, there's a nucleus in the cell, and this nucleus is going to have a receptor. So whenever a gland is going to release a hormone, this is hormone. This hormone, because it is a lipid hormone, it is going to cross this plasma membrane and go and attach to the receptor molecule. And as soon as this lipid hormone attaches at the receptor in the nucleus, there is going to be a cascade of reaction, and this particular cell is going to perform its function. If this molecule is not attached, the function is not going to be performed. If the lipid hormone goes and attaches to its receptor inside the nucleus, then the function, cellular function, is going to be carried out. Or lipid molecules sometimes help in derivation of other molecules such as pigments like carotenoids, secondary metabolites like terpenes, various vitamins, cholesterol, bile, prostaglandins, and the list goes on. So lipids can help in formation of several different molecules as well. So this was the list of functions of lipids as well as a general introduction to lipids. In the next class, what we are going to talk about is we are going to talk about the classification of the lipid molecules. Classification of the lipid.